All right, so here's a quick gym warm-up for you. Let's get into it. So the first thing you want to do is find something that's going to elevate your heart rate a little bit. Today I chose the rower. You can use a bike, go for a jog, doesn't really matter. 5 minutes, raise your heart rate, breathe through your nose. All right, so the next thing is going to be foam rolling. Now, this should take about 15 to 20 seconds per area. For my quad, I'd roll through. When I find that tighter area, I'm gonna actually pause, let my body weight sink into it, and just kind of make very subtle adjustments.
This section is called Areas of Improvement. For me, I struggle with lower back pain and tightness, so I need to work on hip flexion and learning how to relax my lower back and breathe properly. Here I'm working on rib cage expansion, trying to breathe through the foam roller, really good, smooth, deep breaths and smooth exhales. This helps with lower back tightness and mid-thoracic spine tightening. So this is an extremely difficult shoulder girdle stability and core stability exercise. What I'm focusing on is pushing down through my forearms into the floor, trying to what we call protract my shoulder blades. We don't want to feel this in our lats, so you shouldn't be pulling down. I'm also focusing on tucking my pelvis slightly here, not trying to overdo it so I'm not rounding my back. All I'm trying to do is create a straight line from my neck all the way down to my hips. If you're doing this properly, you will feel your core shaking like crazy, your shoulders will be on fire. Added bonus here is to try to breathe in through the nose and exhale through the mouth, trying to expand your rib cage. When done consistently, this will improve your scapulohumeral rhythm and decrease rib flare. The next exercise we have is going to be the banded hip series. This is a great exercise to fire up the hips and get the medial glute and glute max firing. Now, I'm trying to keep my steps really consistent, and I'm trying to keep my ankle in line with my knee and my knee in line with my hip. That's why it looks like I'm taking such small steps. And here we call these the stanky legs, working on hip internal to external rotation, keeping consistent tension on. Now moving on to the dynamic warm-up, here's the hip flexor rocker. I'm grabbing with the opposite side and moving my whole body forward and backward. Now we're moving on to the inchworm, walking forward, driving the heels down and trying to pike and keep my core tight here. Here's the side-to-side lunge. I'm going to progressively add more rotation and weight shift. Next is a lumbar lock thoracic rotation. Important to keep the pelvis nice and stable here and not drive too hard through these rotations. Work with what you have. Next, we have our dynamic skips. We are going forward and backward, working on driving to knee height. Next, we have cariokas, really working on hip rotation forward and backward. Now we have our lateral shuffles, driving off our back foot, and we have our ankle hops, focusing on little knee bend there. And the last thing I like to finish up with before a lift is core stability work. Here I'm performing the bird dog, which I think is super underrated. If we keep a lot of tension through the palms and the opposite knee, this becomes a super tough exercise.